Hey, welcome back to Feminine Success TV. I'm your host, Yahya Smith. Join me weekly as I share tips to help you find your feminine flow, elevate your thought life, organize your home life, deepen your fulfillment, and improve your relationships with step-by-step solutions to have sustainable success. I've helped thousands of women worldwide create total transformations. Now you can get the support you want to get your whole life. Today, I want to share with you what femininity is and what it's not. Because I see so many people talking about femininity, learning about femininity, interested in growing their feminine side and really reclaiming it. And some of the information out there is good, but some of it can lead you astray if you're not sure what you're looking at. So I want to talk about a quote that I have used over the last 5 years in building this business, and that is this: femininity is not a box. It is a blueprint. I'll say that again. Come in close. Femininity is not a box. It is a blueprint. So what does that mean? The first thing that femininity is your personal culture. So what does that mean? What does it feel like to interact with you? What are the customs that you keep in your day-to-day life? If you've ever known or heard someone speak about a woman who was valued in her femininity and saying everyone who was in her presence felt special, she always just shined and she was glowing. If you hear people talking about a woman in that way, what they're speaking about is her culture. If you've ever heard someone say when they walk into a home, you can tell a woman's been here, it has that feminine touch. That is the personal culture. What are your customs? What is your environment? And what is your language? Every culture has its own language. And the way that you speak, because the feminine rules communication, the way that you speak is very important to your culture. How do you tend to the things that you have been entrusted with? Things like your beauty, things like your home and the decor and the feel of the atmosphere around you. So that's the first thing. Femininity is your personal culture. The next thing that femininity is your personal boundaries, your ability to create boundaries, uphold boundaries, and how you communicate those boundaries. So often on the shadow side of the feminine, we see mothers or women who are either smothering or overcompensating. They're always giving and they don't know how to create those boundaries, or they've created them and they're not consistent with them. Communication is one of the biggest traits, one of the biggest aspects of femininity. The way that we communicate with ourselves and with others is a very important piece of your feminine success blueprint. The next aspect of your femininity, I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it again, is your communication. What is your language? What is your tone? How do you deliver what you need to say? You'll hear often, and I'm sure you've heard before in your life, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that truly is a characteristic of the feminine, how you say what you say. So as a feminine woman, you are often called on for feedback, for critique. How are you communicating those things? You're often called on for truth, for your input and opinion on things, which can sometimes be polarizing, but are you able to communicate those polarities in a way that's understood and received? So this is not an exhaustive list at all, but I just wanted to give you the basics and understand that femininity is a skill set. Femininity is a skill set that supports you with making better decisions, improving your relationship dynamics. So that means being able to trust yourself and others, being confident in yourself, understanding what you will allow, what you will receive, and what you will repel or reject is very important. Sometimes we hear about femininity and we say, oh, well, I can never reject anything. I have to make sure that I'm open and allowing. But I say this, and I'll say it all the time, if you're open to everything, you're open to anything. And if you leave your doors open, you'll let flies in. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I hate flies in my house. It's so important for you to have a filter or a screen like we would on our homes, right? And that is how you know what to let in. The immature feminine feels the need to be open to any and everything, but the mature feminine is discerning. Okay. So let's talk about what femininity is not. Femininity is not a uniform. So it's not, I have to wear pink, I have to wear lace, I have to keep my makeup done, I have all of the rules and regulations that people say you need to have in place in order to be feminine. I've met feminine women who wear jerseys to work every day, who have amazing relationships with men without being one of the homies. And I've met women who have a very masculine demeanor but are dressed to the nines, nails and all of the things, and still they have a very strong masculine presence. So understand that femininity is not a uniform that you put on and take off, okay? It's a lifestyle. It's an inner shift that reflects outwardly. Femininity is also not speaking softly like this all the time to make sure that you don't ever offend anyone. That's not femininity either. What that can become, if it is masked as femininity, is a very passive aggressive personality where you're always suppressing your true feelings. Femininity is not about communicating in a way that never offends. Femininity is about communicating in a way that is well received. And some things that are well received can cut a little bit. They can convict you a little bit, but they also inspire you to change, to grow, to move. That is the true, mature nurturing in femininity. When you are able to prune in a way that is so loving that, yes, it may hurt a little bit, but it's so well received that the receiver knows this is meant to grow me. Femininity is also not being a doormat. I hear so many women say, I tried the feminine thing, or my grandma tried the feminine thing and she turned out to be a doormat, and I don't want to be like that. I totally get it. Femininity has been force-fed to us in this Stepford wife, make everything beautiful kind of box, right? This uniform. And that so isn't it. And what it can make us feel is that in order to be feminine, in order to be my real self, I have to be weak. I have to be second class. I have to let people walk all over me and pretend that I like it. And that is absolutely not it. It's also not being less than a man. It's not being less than a man. As a feminine woman, we understand that we are equal in value. We're not always equal in function. And that's okay. I don't want to have to do everything that men do. Yes, I can, but do I want to? No. And so it's understanding that we are equal in value, but we don't have to be equal in function. Femininity is not a set of rules, it is a standard. It is a blueprint. So if you think about a blueprint, if you have a solid blueprint to build a beautiful home, you can decorate that home any way that you want to. You can put the rooms in different places. You really have freedom to fulfill the inside and the outside of the home and finish that home however you desire. Femininity is a tool that allows you to set a solid foundation so that no matter what comes, what goes in your life, you're able to be flexible and move with it and also come back to center when you need to. Femininity is a higher calling. It's what changes your relationships with yourself and others and helps you to make powerful decisions that really allow you to create a legacy. And that's really what femininity is about. Femininity is about coming back to the covenant that was originally designed for you as a woman so that you can build a powerful legacy. So I hope that this supported you in understanding in a very condensed way what femininity is and what it is not, and helps you to embrace the journey and step into the journey in a way that's truly fulfilling and freeing for you.
I saw her talking about femininity and I was tuning into her live streams, and she opened up enrollment to her Flawless Femininity course. And I knew right then, I was like, I'm in there. I remember as I was going through Flawless Femininity and I was learning about how femininity was not just the outer trappings, was not just some uniform. And she likes to say, it's not a uniform, it's a blueprint. So thank you for that. That it showed me how femininity was an essential tool, skill, wand, if you will, in multiple areas of my life, that I started to see how being reconnected and healing my femininity, not finding it, because she shows you that it's always there and it's the stuff that gets on top of it that gets in the way, and what it truly is and what it truly is not, that I saw that how I didn't have it in areas where I thought. From that course, I learned why I had problems with previous bosses and managers. I learned how I've had communication issues sometimes with my family and friends. I learned why I was, successful sometimes and not successful sometimes, and the inconsistency. I learned how to get out of the hustle and the grind, and that there was a totally different way to do life. And I think before that, I just thought, well, I need to just make sure my environment is pretty. I need to make sure that I'm pretty. I need to make sure that I watch my language. And that's kind of what was being fed to the masses. And I realized that while a lot of people had the trappings of femininity, that Yahya had the lifestyle and she had the wisdom. And I can tell you that it didn't take all day. Like, I started seeing results immediately, but you have to do the work,